Good morning, everyone. Thank you all very much for joining us here today. This is going to be a great little conversation about a really cool group that we are putting together in 2022. So we're going to chat a little bit about it today. We've got Denise and Jay here, who are the brainstormer on this program. And so we've got some really exciting stuff coming up here. So I'm going to go ahead and mute some folks here. Hang on just a second. There we go. All righty. So I'm Shauna Naff. I'm the CEO of the Lotus Group, and I'll be kind of serving as a little bit of the behind the scenes admin person for this group. So that will be everything from, helping you stay on task and getting the classes kind of, graphically interesting. But it's going to be a really fun group. So let me go ahead and talk a little bit about Denise and Jay and why they put this group together. And then they're going to share a little bit about what this program is going to entail. And then we'll have some time for questions at the end. Denise, can you move to the next slide, please?
I absolutely can.
Thank you. All right. So Pinnacle was, we like to say, created for top producers by top producers. So the reason this whole class came together, this group came together, was because both Denise and Jay have got a passion for helping agents reach the pinnacle of their business, the peak of their business. So we've got agents that, maybe have come to some of our classes or are involved with us in some way, shape, or form, or maybe are just out there. I'm sorry?
No, I for sure maybe have allergies because I sneezed.
Gotcha. Or maybe out there doing business on their own, and they know that things could be running a little bit more smoother. Maybe they've got some big goals that they want to achieve. And so Denise and Jay came together and said, okay, how can we really take that component of agents and really help them go up to the next level? Denise had sold as a real estate agent over 125 homes per year. Obviously, that took some structure, that took some planning, and she's going to be really working with those agents on that aspect of their business. Then we've got Jay, who was not only a top producer when he was a top producer, but also he was able to retire early with creating a plan and just following through on that structure and plan. So I'm going to go ahead and turn things over to both Denise and Jay to talk a little bit about Pinnacle, but I just wanted to kind of set the groundwork and talk a little bit about what you can expect. Thanks.
So Shauna, thank you. And I actually am thrilled that Jay and I have decided to do this. And I'll kind of tell you where this came from. We have a lot of great clients. We have had clients over the years that sell 5 houses a year. We have clients that sell 100 houses a year. And there is a different need that those different agents have. And when you start getting to a point in your business where you are doing some volume, or you are, I would say, busy, what happens is other parts of your life start to suffer, right? So what we wanted to do is we wanted to create a model for really high level coaching and training that was particularly targeted towards that type of agent. And it's that agent who definitely wants to have a better business, but something holds you back. And I have agents that over the years have been able to get to a certain level, but that's the level they seem to stay at. And they're just stuck there and they don't quite know how to get beyond that. So I really wanted something that was smaller, more intimate, more intense, more high level of honesty, expectation, really getting to know a lot about how you work, why you do the things you do. Also, what is it when you think about agents that are in this business that just seem to be successful, right? You might look at them and wonder, what are they doing? What is it that they know that you don't know? And what is it? What's their process? What's their system? And a lot of it has to do with that. The other thing is that while most agents that are already doing well, like these top producing agents, they're doing well, but they're not nearly scratching the surface of how well they're doing, because usually there are systems that they are missing out on. There are things in their business that are slipping, and it's almost like they may do really well in capturing the business, but there's also a lot of fallout. So it's really about being honest about, okay, how can we leverage this business and leverage your time to really get to that top pinnacle level of real estate. And it's unfortunately, whether you are somebody that is just on that hamster wheel grind or not, what happens is a lot of times you're too busy to slow down long enough to know what is really, really going on. And then I chose to do this with Jay because I don't think that in all my years in real estate, I can say that anyone has been more open and willing as a top producer. I met Jay when he was a top producer. So when I met him, there were things that he, just like this, things that he needed to master. And he went on over the years and mastered that and continued coaching and training and all of that, which he'll talk about in just a second. But Jay is a person who's done it, mastered it. He's lived it. He's walked in the shoes of the top producer, just as I have. And when you walk in those shoes, you understand those very intricate things that make up the mindset of a top producer, but also it also makes up the I would say the insufficiencies of the top producer. We are very insufficient in doing things certain ways. Top producers, unfortunately, will oftentimes do what needs to be done, which is the deal of the moment, the crisis contract that has to get closed by Friday, the client that is whining and complaining that their listing isn't sold. What often happens is the top producer is really good at slaying the dragons at the top, but all those nice, sweet, happy dragons at the bottom get forgotten. And then what happens is it perpetuates this ongoing need to just always, always be on. So while they're good at their job and they are top producers because they're efficient in those areas, they're insufficient in some others. So this is why I brought Jay in as well, because I wanted a small, intimate group where Jay and I could really get honest with people and really talk with these top producers and really talk about how to kind of really get you to that next level. Jay, take it away.
Thanks, Denise. So I was really pushing this program to Denise and Shauna over the past year based on my experience with coaching. I had a great experience with coaching. Like Denise said, I started coaching with Denise back in 2000 and I think it was 8. And my business was going very well. I was doing very well. I had some systems in place, but like she said, I wasn't really scratching the surface. So when I joined with her, I started to get all these new processes in place and my business grew exponentially. And I continued and continued and continued up until I think it was last year. And what I found is that once you start really following through with these systems, even if you're a top producer, that your business can still continue to grow. And it grows in a much easier way. You don't have to necessarily work as hard to get the same results. Or as she teaches you, you don't necessarily have to sell as many homes to net the same amount of money. So that these are some of the things that we're going to be talking about, how to make your business go much more smoothly. Like this other bullet point here on the far right, have you lost a listing or two that you should have had in the bag? I mean, even when I was selling a ton of homes, there were still situations where I would lose a listing where I couldn't believe why I lost it. And it was just the dumbest thing in the world. So we're going to be discussing that, just simple things that we may overlook. Even though we're top producers, there's still things that you can learn. And I've had a number of agents over the past couple of years talk to me about this program saying, you know, coaching is awesome, but isn't there a program that we can have where we take it even to the next level? And that's what this is all about, taking it to the next level. You have to have certain requirements to even get into this group, which is great for collaborating, where you're going to be collaborating with agents who are on the same playing field as you and where you can learn a lot. And then this last bullet point, do you want to retire in 10 years or less, but need help creating a succession plan? This is where I can really come in because I'm kind of in the midst of this right now. I'm still selling a few homes here and there, but I already have my plan in place. And I know that there are a lot of agents out there that are like me that you don't want to walk away from 20, 30, 40 years of business. And this could still be a great income stream for you while you're transitioning into that next phase of your life. And we're going to also be discussing this.
Yeah. And the other thing too, Jay, that I think that's important for agents to hear is that having a retirement succession plan and getting to the point where you're able to retire comes when you have choices, right? And you get choices when you've created a level of stable income in your business. And we have a lot of, over the years, I've had a lot of agents, and Jay is a classic example of one that we did start talking about the real estate business, his business, how to get better, how to get those systems in place, but also bigger picture. Okay, are you going to retire? When you're going to retire? What do you need to do now to get prepared for that? And I will say that the one thing that Jay did beautifully was he did that. He planned for that, investing in real estate, being smart about where, when, how, all of those things. I have top producers that have very different problems than the traditional producer. And that top producer has a problem of, I'm making all this money. I don't have 2 hours to even go and think about investing. So, okay, I'll just give all my money to, the guy that's handling my financial planning. Okay, that's great, but is that really going to get you where you want to go? So part of this group is really always thinking about, because you can't just always be on. You have to think about, when are you off? I don't know too many people that sit down and think, really get honest about, okay, what is it going to look like when I'm going to retire? And with Jay didn't just wake up one day and say, I'm going to want to retire. Jay planned it. There was a lot of work that went into this. And this is why this program, this is another thing. Top producers have different issues than, let's say, a traditional producer. So I want to talk a little bit about, okay, what is it, right? So there's a lot of different components that top producers think that they're good at, but not necessarily. Okay, so what happens is, I'll give you a couple examples. What happens for top producers is they get so busy, they have so much going on that they rarely stop long enough to really assess things, right? So really looking at not just their listing presentation, but how they present it. A big part of this group is going to be, there is going to be a lot of work done specifically around how you come across, right? Because that's really important. What are you giving off to people? What does it look like when you present? How are you clearly conveying your benefit? So one thing about this group, I think one of the most important things is being in a small trusted group where you feel comfortable to really hone your skills, right? So listing presentation is going to be really important. Also, having a success blueprint around what is the process that you have or will even allow before you ever work with buyers. Because a lot of top producers are listing agents, but there's also a huge amount of money. I do know agents right now, top producers that are listing and they're not doing any work with buyers. They're just like, oh, sorry, I don't do buyers. Sorry, I don't do buyers. And that's this huge amount of income that you're letting go through your fingertips. Also, teams, partnership efficiency. If you're in a team, is it really working effectively? And are the people on your team really working to the best of their abilities? Also, leads. How can you create a lead magnet system so that you can just take some time and do what you do best and stop worrying about always having to bring in new business, right? It's got to be automatic. Also, the money side of it. Most top producers do not have a succession plan. Most top producers do not have a retirement plan. Most top producers do not have an agent referral plan. Most top producers do not have a money plan. Most top producers are so busy, they don't have the financial side of their world. Most top producers do not have a tax strategy plan. They do not have an estate plan. Just around the financial side alone, the financial side of this is huge. And this is a side that I really love, really getting into helping top producers look at what they've got, where it's at, what they can do with it, how to protect it, insurance, everything, that whole side of it. You cannot do that in a large group, right? Also, really looking at with today's online presence and it's changing, by the way, Facebook is changing. Twitter is changing, YouTube is changing, everything is changing. Are those things important anymore in your business? I know some producers who will say yes, some that say no. So we want to help get that balance. that balance between you being tech savvy and you being a tech dinosaur, right? There's two agents. There's the kind that's pretty tech savvy, the kind that is a tech dinosaur. Well, if you're a tech dinosaur, top producer, you gotta get your skills up there, right? And if you're tech savvy, fantastic, but maybe you're relying on tech too much and maybe you've forgotten the customer service aspect of it, okay? These kinds of things, really having that balance. Also intensive, and I mean intensive conflict resolution, intensive. Jay and I did a class not too long ago, and this class was about learning how to speak up and make more money. And what was really cool about that class is I hear from people after, and I got an email from one of my clients that said, "You need to call me. You're not going to believe this." Jay, I haven't even shared this with you. Sean, I don't even think I've shared it with you because like all top producers, I'm also super busy. So I don't have a lot of time for chit chat. But when I called this agent, she said to me, I went to a seller's house and there was some conflict. And the seller was a little bit upset because the offer that they had an offer situation that did not go well. And the agent said is, all I did is to me, she said, I would have panicked. She said, I sat there and just really calmly followed your formula, let him speak. And by the end of me leaving, I actually felt that I had really addressed it well. And she said, it wasn't even about his conflict. It was about my ability to address it. She said, I just sat there thinking, okay, here's the formula, follow the formula. Because she said, I was initially scared because that's what happens when I have conflict. So really understanding that conflict isn't just, it isn't just with your clients. Sometimes it's with families. Sometimes it's internal conflict. Sometimes for top producers, they have this need to do it all. And it's about learning how to do it all right so that you can do less. So that's super, super, super important. Okay. So Jay, talk a little bit about kind of what does this thing look like?
Yeah, so we're going to do kind of like what we did in our conflict class. We're going to do intensive role playing, and we're going to be videoing it. So that's the second one there, which I remember years ago, we used to do a lot of video in Encore where we would do presentations and we would video and critique. So we're going to be doing video work with regard to role playing, but also talk about video and how it relates to sellers and buyers, listing videos, videos for buyers. We're dealing with a lot of remote buyers these days. So how do you create a good video tour for your buyers? Review and critique of systems and processes. We're going to look at what you have and review and critique and help tweak it to make it even better and a more useful system for you. Collaboration with colleagues. I think that this one is awesome. I can't tell you how much I've learned over the years in coaching with Encore and originally with Evolve. You meet like-minded agents, you learn from them. Even though you may know a ton, you're always going to be able to pick up something from another agent. And another agent might know a little bit more about foreclosures, for example, than you would. Another agent might know a little bit more about multiple offer situation because it hasn't quite hit their market yet. So you can learn a lot from collaboration with these colleagues. And these, once again, are going to be similar as you because we have enacted more of strict requirements as to who can be in this group. So that will really help with the collaboration. And then the last one, between class business building challenges. I remember years ago at Encore where we would do this, where we would have these challenges that you would have to work together with your team in between class. And it was really fun to do. We learned a lot and it was very helpful. So we're going to be doing a lot of that also within this group.
And the other thing is that for agents that get to a certain level in their business, what happens for them is that they don't really feel that they have someone to talk to and really confide in or to work with to sharpen the sauce, so to speak. Because what happens is, imagine that you've got this business, it's a robust business. Well, you walk into your office or people in your office look at you as you're the leader, you're the one. So you're always that person that you've arrived, you're already there. So who's going to give you advice? The reason we put this group together is for those individuals that are doing a fairly good amount of business, and who's going to sharpen their saw? Who's going to actually say, yeah, you're good, but you could be better. You are good, but you're not efficient. You are good, but you're not taking any time off. You are selling a lot of real estate, but are you really happy? You are selling a lot of real estate, but you don't have a plan to retire. You are doing well in real estate, but you're exhausted all the time. You are, right? So it's also about getting honest and being, like Jay talks about, the collaboration, being with people that you trust, that are on the same path as you, have similar issues to you, and many will have mastered some areas, many still will be struggling in others, but it's an opportunity for us to put together a close-knit group of top-notch professionals that want to get even better. Okay.
Can I say one more thing?
You can, yes.
What's also what could be really helpful for all of you is that I'm still in the business. I'm not selling a lot of homes anymore, and we're going to talk about that during class with the whole succession planning, but I am still in the business and I'm still selling homes. And it's nice having, and this is not a knock on Denise. Denise is awesome and she has a ton of experience,
Yeah.
but it's nice to also have me up there who can talk about what's going on right now and my experiences. So you can actually collaborate with me and talk to me about issues because I'm in the trenches with you still.
Yes.
So I think that might be helpful, having my perspective still being in the business.
And I think what's awesome is Jay's not just in the business, but he's able to also reflect, and he's very honest about, Jay has many times said, oh my God, I'm scared to death about this, or oh my goodness. And you would think Jay Aguado is scared of anything because he's a good reputation in the industry. People know he's a top producer. They know that he is the utmost professional. And for him to say, oh my gosh, this is I wanted to go and throw up in between some of these sessions. Not that we're going to make you do that or want you to feel that way, but it's about being honest. And when you have the ability to be honest with like-minded people, it is extremely powerful. So this is going to be a very special group. The group is going to come together. It's a 2022 group. We are looking right now at February dates, March dates. It's not going to start in January. Our goal is to start it in February, the latest at March. That's our goal right now. And we'll keep you updated. We'll release those final dates soon. Shauna, can you just kind of explain what's included, and then we'll talk a little bit about requirements?
Absolutely. So in terms of the live meetings, we're looking at this as it's going to have a starting point and an ending point. So we've already worked on the curriculum aspect of this. We've really power packed each individual class with that, the list of things that Jay said was included in every class. We're doing video in every class. We're doing role playing in every class. We're looking at systems in every class. I mean, this is going to be robust. You're going to walk away at the end of the day with like, wow, this is great, but really with some concrete to-do items in your business. So that's fantastic. Right now, we are looking at the Linwood Convention Center as a meeting spot. Nothing has been set in stone just yet. We're also going to be working, like we talked about the curriculum, it's all going to be based on building your business, making improvements, incremental improvements. You're going to have to go, like if we evaluate your listing presentation, we're expecting you in 2 meetings to come back with that whole thing ready to go. So there's a definite like accountability and expectation that is set here. But we're also going to be looking at your individual businesses and helping you customize what is right for you. So maybe that lead generation component is still not refined. Well, let's figure out a plan for getting it refined. We're going to be analyzing your marketing and your brand, making sure that it's all still up to par and can take you through whatever that next step is, whether that be retirement, referralment, or whatever. We're going to be setting up a special online classroom. We're going to be setting up a group too, so you can collaborate. That's going to be very exciting. If you need additional help from the Lonas group to maybe implement some of the things that we've indicated that are areas of concern, you'll be able to do that. We are limiting this group to 25 people. So it's going to be a very intimate group. We wanted to keep it smaller. This was really a really important piece of that. We're going to include our Club Zebra Pro membership, of course. And then if you wanted a custom accountability plan, Jay is working on what that looks like, and we'll work with you on an individual basis to come up with the right plan for you.
And also on the custom accountability, anytime we do any kind of coaching, you have people that will say, listen, I've got a team. I really need some help putting this stuff together. I want some accountability for my team. Can you help keep them in line, please? Yes, we'll be able to do that. That will be an additional and optional thing that you can do. And that'll be based on your needs. Tell us about what your needs are. And if you need us helping you with accountability every week, we'll do it. If it's every day and you need it, it's all about what's going to work within the plan. Also, agents have to be experienced. This is not a group for new agents. This is not a group for agents that are selling 2 homes a year. This group has been designed for agents that are really experiencing the challenges of today's market. Also, by the way, for many, because of a lack of inventory right now, many of the top producing agents are now, they're now looking at, what do I do with my business? I used to be able to turn over and do more volume, and they're starting to panic. So as a top producer, learning how do you shift and adjust, right? So you've got to be in the business a minimum of 5 years. You have to have 5 years experience selling as a lead agent. That doesn't mean that you've been assisting somebody and now you want to jump out on your own and you think that this is a good training vehicle to do this. This is not a training program. This is a program for experienced agents. We want you to have had 5 years of good production where you're doing that volume. You understand what it feels like in the business to do that. And that's really important. And also, you have to commit to attending a minimum of 75% of the meetings. This is also a by invitation group, meaning that I will be inviting certain agents, and so will Jay, that we feel would be great, just perfect for this group, right? Where we just know, we know their volume, we know what they're doing in the industry, and we think that they'd be a really great fit. Jay, do you want to talk a little bit about the tasks and the business building, the last 2 items?
Yeah, so there will be different types of tasks. And like I said earlier, these business building activities that will occur between classes. So we want people who are going to complete these activities and tasks. We don't want people just to fill seats. We want people to fill seats and participate. So that's very important that you complete things that are asked of you. And then the last one, must be open to change, criticism, and be willing to work well and support of other Pinnacle colleagues. I've seen over the years, we've had certain individuals in coaching where they just aren't open to change, and it could just be a miserable experience for them and for the rest of the people that are in the class. We want people who will go into class and just be open to all of this. And we don't feel like we're asking a lot of people, but that's really what we need for this group to be successful.
And Jay's point about if you want to get better, you come with the learner's mind, you come with the learner's attitude, and you come in and you surrender to a certain extent and say, yeah, I do a great amount of business, but I don't even know how I do it. I'm walking around most of the time, I'm a disorganized mess, right? Be honest about it. We've had people show photos of their office. We've had people show photos of their house. I think one of the most compelling, powerful, amazing moments I remember ever in coaching is when one of my coaching clients stood up and said, I suck as a mother because I can't even find my children's paperwork and my house is a disaster and I need help. And then we were able to help her and it transformed her life. And she has gone on to be an extremely successful agent, but she could not get past her home management. Like, we're looking for honesty. We're looking for what really takes somebody and elevates them to reach the pinnacle of themselves, the pinnacle of their business, getting their systems together. So it's really exciting. We're thrilled about it. If you have interest and you want to explore it further, you just send Shauna an email and just say, hey, I'd like to explore this further. Exploring it further means that Jay or I will have a talk with you, a discussion with you. It's not just, hey, would like to sign up. It is let Shauna know. We'll put the list together. And then at that point, either Jay will call you or I will call you. And we want to talk to you a little bit about kind of just a little get to know you and what your challenges are so that we can get you best fit into the program. And and just make sure that you are the right fit. So we're thrilled, excited about it. I cannot wait. It's something that I'm really looking forward to. And even in my own business, and this is what is a key too, top producers also really recognize that they need to be doing more of what they do best. And even with Pinnacle, one of the things that I would say as a company, we do the best is we are really good at cutting through the BS, right? So you may be good, but you're not great yet. Let's get you great. And that's really what we're going to focus on. So we can open it up if we have some questions, Shauna. Go ahead, and if you have questions, you can either raise your hand. You can also put the questions through chat, and then we will answer the questions for you. Go for it.
Absolutely. So let's just give it another minute here and see if we have any questions, and feel free to unmute yourself and ask if that would be easier than typing one in.
And also, people are usually, a lot of times people are intimidated to ask questions because the name of this group, Pinnacle Top Producer, don't let any of that. If you're doing volume and you want help and you want to get to that next level, please just don't be afraid to ask us anything you want. That's the whole point of the group.
Absolutely. Well, I think that we're going to go ahead and, let's see. So what happens? Here is a good question. So what happens if you have not sold an average of 24 transactions, or have not sold an average of 24 plus homes over the past 5 years, but maybe you have gradually gotten up to that point, or are at that point, but not averaged it out?
Now, I would send an email to Shauna and then let Jay and I talk to you, because again, I had an agent ask that same question. When we first talked about Pinnacle, she said to me, I haven't sold 24 over the last 5 years, but last year I sold 47. The year before I sold like 25, and then it taken her time to get there. So I said, that's a great candidate, but I want to know where you're at. You have to be in that top producer mindset. So that's something we're going to have to look at that for sure.
I have another question. Denise, what if I'm not part of a team? So I think maybe we had indicated earlier that maybe we would work with your team. So maybe if it's just a solo agent,
If you're a solo agent, you need Pinnacle probably as much or more than somebody that's part of a team. You don't have help. You're alone. You're just out there. You need to get these systems in order. Also, you would really benefit from really understanding as a solo agent, okay, are you at the place where you need to be, or do you need to add somebody? And maybe it's not adding a team member. Maybe it's adding a contractor or a company that does a service for you. And that's another thing that we're seeing. A lot of top producers are going away from managing individuals in a team. And a lot of top producers are saying, I don't want to do that anymore. What I want to do is I'm going to hire it out. So we, even as a company, what we've noticed in the last few years is a surge in agents that we work with that we're now doing specifically mailings for them, because they don't want to have an assistant to do that, because they don't want to manage it. They just want to know, tell me what you're going to do for me. I'm going to cut a check and I want to make sure it's done well. So we have I'm seeing a trend also in the industry where people are going from employing a lot of team members, and they are now employing contractors and services. So you don't have to be part of a team.
I have one final question that's been direct message to me. I am already overwhelmed with work. How much work is this going to entail?
Yeah, no, if you're overwhelmed, you need Pinnacle. There's no doubt about it. It's about learning how to ignore the noise. If you're overwhelmed because you don't have a strategy, you don't have a system, all you have is noise. And what happens when you have too much noise is that the noise that's ringing the loudest in your ear is what's going to get the attention. So what happens is you're a slave to the noise. That's what's going on. You're constantly living and running your business based on the noise. So I would say Pinnacle is going to really hit you in a really honest place about, okay, what are you really dealing with? A lot of noise. And how do we discern the different types of noises? And then what are the solutions for that? Right? Because there's different types of noises. And that's where I think Pinnacle would be perfect. I want you overwhelmed. I want you stressed out. Jay and I want you to, we don't want and expect people are coming into Pinnacle because they've got it all together. We are expecting, by the way, and the people that, when I say I want to have a call with you, if I have a call with you and you are the perfect agent, life is going great for you, and you don't have any challenges, this is probably not the group for you. I want someone who is, you're good at what you do, you've gotten better, but it's a lot of work. And you want to get better, more efficient. You want to leverage your time. You want to leverage your systems. You want to leverage your database, right? You want to leverage your lead generation, but you just don't know how to do it. You got to have a new system. You need a foundation. And top producers live, breathe, and work very differently than an agent that is not selling at that top producer level. Top producers are used to getting what they want, when they want, and how they want. Top producers often don't have somebody that they can go to that is going to bluntly tell them, no, it's good, but it's not great. This is what great looks like. And that is where, and I've noticed over the years that top producers, by the way, do very well when they're able to see how they do. They visually get it. That's why we're going to be doing a lot of video work. So if it's not just video work where we're going to show you what does it look like? What does your body language look like? How do you come across? What does your presentation look like? There's a lot of that that's going to really help you. Once you see it, it changes you. It really does. So I'm so excited about it. I cannot wait. I am thrilled, and I can't wait to chat more about it.
Excellent.
So if you are interested and have questions, send an email to Shauna, and then Shauna will set up a time with Jay or I to speak with you, and maybe both of us to speak with you. We may both do a call with you. We'll just see about our schedules, really. Excellent. Is what it'll be. Awesome.
Well, thank you, everyone. I'll also follow up. I'll send out the recording as well, just so if you'd like to review this. Oh, and one final question here. The definition of a top producer is somebody who's at least selling 24 transactions per year. Is that correct?
Yes. I want someone who is that going forward. If you don't have a desire to sell 2 houses a year,
a month,
you're probably 2 houses a month. Yes. Thank you, Jay. Not a year. A top producer to me is somebody that you're in this business. You're in this business. You got to be doing 2 transactions a month. That's really where I see the top producer for this program.
And it's not based on income, because we have people that are working in different areas. So if you're, working in Bellevue, that's going to be a different animal than somebody working, South King County.
I know people that are selling $300,000 homes down in Centralia, 350,000, but they're on this hamster wheel. They need to get off the hamster wheel. We need to help them. So it's not about the dollar volume. It's about the pace. The top producer pace is always going, always going. They've always got those transactions, always up there. Yes.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you all very much. Be in touch if you're interested, and I'll set up the recording. Hope to be in touch soon. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.